Gulfstream today. I'm Katie Stazak, joined by track announcer Pete Aiello, and it is another beautiful day here in Hollandale Beach. We've got an 8-race card on tap this Thursday, and it's an exciting week here at Gulfstream too, as it is Preakness week, so a lot of fun things going on here, but we have a carryover. It continues to grow in the Rainbow Six, more than $70,000, almost $71,000. And it's going to continue to grow with our 8-race card. It starts in race number 3, so do not forget that. And like I mentioned, it is Preakness week here at Gulfstream. We have a lot of things going on for the Preakness Stakes. We're going to have a viewing party here on Saturday. First race at Pimlico starts at 10:30 a.m. Silks will be open early at 9:30, so you can watch and wager on all of the racing there. And then our own first race here at Gulfstream will have a special adjusted post time of 12:20. You'll be able to do advanced wagering on the Preakness starting tomorrow afternoon. We're also going to have a contest. There'll be a drawing. 10 people are going to be able to place a wager on the Preakness for free. If you bet $200 here at Gulfstream, you will be able to get an entry into that contest. Again, 10 people will be drawn to bet on the Preakness.
Do I qualify for that?
I'm not sure if you do, Pete, but we'll give it a try. But it's going to be a very exciting day. But today, we're going to start things off with the first race. It's a $12,500 maiden claiming event. 3-year-olds and upward are going to be sprinting 5 furlongs on the turf course. 2 scratches, the 2 and the 6. Pete, who did you take on top in this race?
I'll tell you who I did not take on top. Spellbreaker right now with 54 minutes to post time is 6-5 in the wagering. Was installed as the 2-1 morning line favorite. He probably goes favored, but I don't know, Katie. 0 for 30. It's hard for me to bet on 1 for 31 at a 6-5 price. I'm going to try to beat Spellbreaker, especially with this early pick 3 sequence. We'll talk about it a little later, but I think Eden's Garden is a free square, so definitely a sequence where if we can beat the favorite in the first, we have value already in the card.
So who are you going to try to beat him with?
Well, I'm going to try to beat him with the number 8-horse Excellent Prospect and the 4 Rocket Boulevard. Rocket Boulevard, the 4-horse in here, is a horse that has a distinction that nobody else in here has. He actually has won a race. He was disqualified from it, though. It was a victory over at Gulfstream Park West last winter for $25,000. They put him on the turf the last 2 times out, and he's improved. He kind of got sour on the main track, but the turf course has reversed his form some. Randy Prasad has been winning about a race a day lately, at least the last couple of days. Miguel Vasquez has the call in here. Here's the key for this race, and this is a huge key for a 5-furlong sprint race on the grass. There's no speed in here. You would happen to think that going 5/8 on the grass, somebody would be fast early, but not really. Number 4, Rocket Boulevard, is the only sprint speed in the race. Excellent Prospect has route speed, so he'll be able to stay close in tow. But Spellbreaker and JM's Parade, who are the other 2 contenders in here, come from well out of it. So tactical advantage to Rocket Boulevard. I'll go with him on top.
Well, let's talk about the early favorite. There is still plenty of time until the first race, so those numbers are going to change. But presumably Spellbreaker will be the favorite. Not sure if he'll go off at 6-5, but I think he is a deserving favorite. Luis Ramirez trains this horse, dropped down to this $12,500 level in his last start and ran a very solid second. That was on May 1st. Was only beaten a length and a quarter and was finished clear of Excellent Prospect, a horse that Pete mentioned that's also in this race. I think he's found a suitable level of competition, and he's run his best races at this distance. He owns 2 seconds and 2/3 from 4 starts turf sprinting. Harry Hernandez, apprentice Harry Hernandez, took the early triple yesterday, rode the winners on the first 3 races on the card. Think he might be able to take the early double again today. Again, like Pete mentioned, the catch with this horse, he's 0 for 30, but I think today gives him the best chance that he possibly can have at getting that breakthrough win.
Waffles. This is waffle time right now. You can have Spellbreaker. I'll take Rocket Boulevard.
You have a strange infatuation with breakfast foods, Pete.
Listen, we got to go 6-5 versus 5-2. This is a perfectly equitable situation.
These people are not betting on waffles. Let's take them to the second race, a $12,500 claiming event. 4-year-olds and upward, which have not won 3 races or won a race since November 14th, are going to be sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track. No scratches in here. We have a field of 6 set to go to the post. I went with the 6 on top. We have the same 3 horses kind of flipped around a little bit in this race, Pete. And that's a Border Song. This one's dropping in for a career low tag for trainer Manny Asperua. After finishing 4th in a $25,000 optional claimer on April 4th, he previously ran in the Sir Shackleton Stakes and won an allowance here back on March 20th, posted an 85 buyer for that effort. He's the class of the field, but the substantial class drop today does raise a bit of a red flag. Pete, you went with the 4. I also have on the ticket that's DNA approved.
Yeah, I might be reaching a little bit with this horse. He's 4-1 on the morning line, but again, speed is my weapon of choice. When I looked at the 3 Abadoy, who's going to take some money, and the 1 Nevsky, who's going to take some money, both of those horses have no early speed. On the main track here at Gulfstream, at least lately, you have to have some kind of tactical foot. The horses with tactical speed are the 4 DNA approved and the 6 Border Song. I'm hoping Caraballo sends him off the claim. It's interesting that they double jump him off the claim here. Trainer Jessica Capitelli does very, very well. Previously based in Maryland, leaves DNA approved this way. Has a sharp workout since the claim. Has been freshened up since the claim. And I think speed is definitely the way to go here. DNA approved needs to get in front of Border Song and then hope to hold him off. I think they're the top 2.
I was going to say those same 2 factors, that quick work and being fresh, that definitely make him look like a strong contender in this race. The other horse I threw in was the 1 Nevsky. Milton Wolfson trains this one. Also taking a class drop last race in a $35,000 optional claimer, but that was last December. That is the catch. He hasn't raced in 5 months, but I just think this is a much more appropriate level for him. He had some very solid finishes and starter allowances prior to his last start, but that was his first start off the claim for Wolfson, and he's going to have Tyler Gaffleone in the irons. The 2 apprentices, Tyler Gaffleone and Harry Hernandez, really dominating the meet right now here at Gulfstream.
And the other thing about DNA approved is this is the first time since he received the ultimate equipment change. First time gelding for DNA approved here. That's probably the reason for the layoff. Makes me like him a little bit more.
Always a nice angle to follow, the first time gelding angle. So that is going to bring us to the 3rd race, and this race does begin today's Rainbow 6 sequence. More than $70,000, almost $71,000 in today's pool. That is going to grow, and we start the Rainbow 6 off with the unproven of the unproven 2-year-olds. 2-year-old fillies all going to be making their first career starts. We have 2 scratches, the 3 and the 4. Also note that Jose Valdivia Jr. will be aboard the 6. That is your second choice on the morning line, Bistro Moncourt. Pete and I both went with the 2 in here. That's Eden's Garden from the Stanley Gold Barn. There's a lot to like about this filly. She's a daughter of Awesome, of course. First full out of the mare, no evil here. But Awesome, of course, is 2-year-olds. They win at an eye-opening 24% in 2-year-old races. He's a sire of horses like Awesome Feather, Fort Loudon, Dogwood Trail, and this one has been working very well. Twice breezed 4 furlongs in less than 48 seconds, and trainer Stanley Gold so far a perfect 2 for 2 in the 2-year-old races here at Gulfstream.
Here's the storyline with Eden's Garden. Eden's Garden was in against Silent Prayer opening week for 2-year-old racing. It was the first 2-year-old race of the season. Eden's Prayer drew the rail. Silent Prayer drew the 2-hole. Stanley Gold scratched out of there to come back and wait for this spot. That's part A of the story. Part B of the story, if you look at their respective forms, Silent Prayer versus Eden's Garden, they've been working in company. They worked the same day, and from what we can tell based on times, they've been working heads up in company. Well, Silent Prayer is the sister to sing praises, and she won easily. Now we have Eden's Garden, who has been working with Silent Prayer. If that's not good enough for you, I really don't know what is.
Absolutely. Backs that up tremendously. Eden's Garden, definitely the horse to beat. Pete, would you single Eden's Garden to open the Rainbow 6?
Not only would I will be.
He will be, so there's something to follow. But got to mention the second choice, Bistro Moncourt, trainer Wesley Ward, another who does very well with 2-year-olds. They haven't been able to hold up with Stanley Gold as of yet, but that could always change. This one is a daughter of Lonro. We saw another progeny of Lonro run for Wesley Ward last week. Didn't run that well, but Lonro's still a very strong stallion. And out of the stakes place mare, Shine Softly by Aldebaran, seems to be a bit better bred for the turf, but we can see how this one does first time out.
Yeah, you know, another guy that does very, very well with the 2-year-olds, he doesn't get a whole lot of credit for it, is trainer Gennady Durachenko, and his horses have fired so far this season. Actually, one of them ran second to one of the Stanley Gold horses when Fellowship won. Durachenko was second. I think that could be deja vu all over again with the number 5 Song Memory. I actually like the other one better, the 4 Edeline, but she's out. Song Memory will go under Manny Aguilar, and again, looking for precocious training and precocious ideas, it's Durachenko and Stanley Gold for me.
All right, we'll take you on to the 4th race. Looks like Eden's Garden. We are all in on that one, so another fun one to watch from the Stan Gold
Quite
Barn.
literally, I might add. If she loses, so do I.
We'll hope that Pete and you stay alive in the early legs of the Rainbow Six. The 4th race is a $6,250 claiming event. 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won 3 races or which have not won a race since November 14th, will be sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Lots of scratches in here. The 1, the 3, the 6, and the 9. Also note that Pedro Monterey Jr. will be aboard the 5, Bling Bang. And just to let you know, if there are any other additional changes, Pete's going to be staying on after we finish the show to update you on those scratches and changes throughout the day. The 4th race, we're going to show you a video of a horse in here. He's even money on the morning line for a good reason. This is Quiz Wiz, and this is his last start from April 3rd. It's a starter allowance, and Quiz Wiz was returning from quite a bit of a break in this race. You're going to see him being pressured on the lead in the early going of this race. He is a horse with a lot of speed and has excelled using that speed in previous races, but he had not run in 4 months in that race. So you're going to see him. He's going to tire a little bit. But this is a very game horse. He has a lot of back class. Second in the Claiming Crown Express Stakes back in December. So he's got some grit to him. He's going to put away the rival that he was running with early, but then he's going to tire. And he's going to get passed by 2 horses named Pass Key, who won 3 in a row, and Blings Express, another top horse at this level. For those 2 horses to be the only ones that beat him, that's not bad coming back from the layoff. By and large, he's the class of the field. Wouldn't you say so, Pete?
He is not only the class, but I challenge anybody here with Reggae Boy out. Find somebody that's going to hook him. We saw on that backtrack last time out that somebody tried to hook him in the early stages, softened him up for Passkey to rally from off the speed. He's not going to have that problem here today, but even if somebody tried, it would be trying in vain, because not only is he the best horse, he's also the fastest horse. He makes his 2nd start off the freshening, and he plunges in class. This is a race where you have to ask yourself, do you try to beat him? The answer to that question for me is very much no. I think that he is a solid horse in here. Quiz Wiz is even money, as you said, for good reason.
A little bit of I was surprised to see him in for this spot. This is the first time that he's ran in a straight claiming race since last July. You would think someone would want to pick him up in this race. He's a 12-time winner and a 6-time winner at the distance. Definitely the horse to beat. The other one I threw in on the ticket is the 8, Crazy Clown Time. Finished 5th in his last start on April 4th. That was at this level against open company, so that means there were no conditions in this race. That was his first start in more than 2 months. Going to return to face condition claimers today in his 2nd start back off the layoff. Think he should move forward with those conditions. And today's going to be his first start for trainer Jose Garofalo, who does well with new additions to the barn.
Yeah, I thought Crazy Clown Time merited consideration. The other thing about Quiz Wiz, you know, when you're looking at it and you're saying, uh-oh, this is a scary drop, consider this. White Rabbit Racing, their game is to win races, and they're going to put horses in the spots where they can win races. If they lose them, to be honest with you, oh well, they'll go get another one. So I don't think that there's any real red flags as far as the drop goes with Quiz Wiz, which makes him all the more tough to beat. I don't even know why I'm mentioning this, because really he is the horse in this race. Crazy Clown Time, maybe to complete your exotics. The 10, Upon Reflection, was a horse that we both used as well. Upon Reflection makes his 2nd start off the layoff. He was well met last time out, or at least we thought he was. He didn't fire at all that afternoon. He gets a rider switch to Arnie Fontanez. Arnie more aggressive in the last couple of weeks here. So Upon Reflection, is he good enough to beat Quiz Wiz? Probably not, but I don't think anybody is, so we have to try to fill in the blanks.
So we'll see if the first 2 legs of the Rainbow Six we get easy favorites. We'll see, can you single in 2 legs early? It's a little bit of a daunting move, but these horses are clearly the class of the field. We'll see if it holds up.
Well, here's the thing about that from a wagering standpoint with the Rainbow Six. You have two heavy favorites to start the sequence. If you're going after the jackpot, it's really simple. You have to beat one or both of them. If you don't think that one or both of them can get beat, then you're playing for the today pool, so to speak.
So we'll move on to the fifth race. This is a $50,000 to $40,000 maiden claiming event. This is going to begin the late pick 4 today. 3-year-old filly is going to be going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf course. We have a field of 9 set to go to the post. No scratches, but 1 jockey change. Put Manny Cruz on the 7. Kiss with a Squeeze. We have another video to show you of a horse in this field. That is the 9 Westminster Road. And we're going to take a look back. This is a $75,000 maiden claimer from April 26th. And you're going to see Westminster Road is the 3 in this particular race. Going to close quickly late and just miss by a neck. Was nosed out for second, going to finish third. This was going 1 mile, and I think that extra bit of ground she's going to get today is really going to help her. She's hit the board in each of her last 4 starts. She's been beaten less than a length in 3 of those starts. I think this is one that's really due for a breakthrough victory. Jonathan Gonzalez is going to be riding for trainer Marty Wolfson. This is one that's in good form right now and very consistent. That is always what I look for.
The only chink in the armor is she will definitely be a victim of the pace here. She has no early speed. She'll have to rally from out of it. Is she the best horse? Yes. But if she's a victim of pace, she might actually fall to a minor award again. If you're looking for the speed, just look for my top play, number 1, Zyar Destiny. I think Gaffleone has some options down inside. She doesn't need the lead, but she can take it if you want it. And she stayed close enough to Westminster Road in 2 of their last 3 meetings for me to take a shot to beat her.
Another horse that I have on the ticket that had a little bit of trouble last time out is the 3 Carta Regia, trained by Antonio Santos. She was gaining late in her last start when she had to trek in the stretch to avoid a fallen rider. She still managed to finish second, only beaten 3/4 of a length. That was against $35,000 maiden claimers. I don't think it's much of a step up in this spot. It's more of a lateral move, really. Eddie Castro is going to stay aboard. I think she should love having that extra 16th of a mile to go as well.
Won't argue with you there. The 2 Symbola is the horse that I completed my ticket on. Second start on turf, second start for trainer Joe Catney's. An improved run big time when moved to the turf course. And Panichi on the grass is one of the most underrated handicapping angles here in South Florida.
If you're looking for angles and numbers, look no further than the 6 Cabanero. Trainer George Weaver wins at a 27% clip with horses debuting in maiden claimers. This one's bred to turf route, a daughter of Smart Strike, aggressively placed for the debut, a solid foundation of works. Might be one to consider. There obviously are unknowns first-time starter, but in this kind of race, you never know. So we'll move on to the 6th race. This one is a $20,000 claiming event. 4-year-olds and upward will be going 7.5 furlongs on the turf course. One more jockey change to note, Luca Panichi. Pete just mentioned him. He's going to be on the 1 in this race, Charlie the Boss. Pete, looks like we are in agreement in this race. Same 3 horses, shuffled around a bit, but we both have the same horse on top, and that is the 5 Midnight Notes.
Well, you tossed it to me like I have a strong opinion here. To be honest, I don't. It never fails, though. It's no different than if it was you and me doing the show or me and Ronnie doing the show. Races that I don't have a strong opinion in, invariably, we always have the same opinion, whether it's you or Ronnie. So, Midnight Notes from the barn of Mike Maker. That's the key handicapping angle here. Exeter race with Golden Rifle as the winner. He was lone speed that afternoon. He took him coast to coast. Midnight Notes could not make up any ground from the back, but it certainly appears that he's well spotted here today. A little bit more tactical speed to chase for him. And Mike Maker at this time of year, always a good idea.
I just think this is a perfect spot for this horse. The last time he ran for a $20,000 tag, that was 2 starts back, he won. The last 2 times he's run at a level close to this, he's won. I just think he's well spotted today, as Pete mentioned, and I think he's the horse to beat. We also both used the 3 Concert Stage, who's coming off a win at this distance on April 18th for the red-hot Gustavo Delgado, had 2 wins on yesterday's card. There isn't a ton of speed in here. He should sit the trip just behind Charlie the Boss, and Tyler Gaffleone's going to retain the mount. This one's a 4-time winner at the distance. Pete, what about the 4 startup?
Startup is stretching out from 5/8 here today. We actually have a couple horses that are doing that. Over and Back and Startup are both coming out of 5 furlong races. It will be interesting to see where that puts them tactically here. Startup is a horse that when he used to run long, he would open up big leads and try to hold, but it certainly seems like trainer Fergus Bogle has turned him around in that regard, and now he's more tractable. He's tractable going short. Can he track going along and win? That I don't know the answer to, but he's too sharp to ignore right now.
Yeah, definitely seemed to lack that acceleration to get the job done in those 5 furlong turf sprints. So I think stretching back out should suit him if, again, he can sit and relax off that pace. So that'll bring us to the 7th race. This one, a $25,000 maiden claiming event. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, are going to be going 1 mile and a 16 on the turf course. One scratch in here, but that's just your main track only participant, the 10, Princess Jasmine. And we've got one more video to show you. This is from a horse, the 5 in this race, the 1 in the race we're about to show you, New York Jackie, who's had trouble actually in each of her last 2 starts with a good trip. Thinks she can do well today. This is last out on May 3rd against $20,000 maiden claimers. You saw her just swung all the way wide. She's carried out by another horse in the race, Mama's Favorite, just so wide. Was really just taken out of the race at the time. And then going to re-rally to finish 3rd. She's, like I mentioned, she's had rough trips in each of her last 2 starts. In the start prior, she stumbled at the start, still managed to finish 3rd, beaten only a neck at this distance. Had a little bit of bad luck. If she can reverse that trend with a better trip, she can win, because despite getting in all that trouble, she's still come running to hit the board.
Yeah, she did. This is one of those situations where we have maiden claiming ranks here that are always tough to gauge the quality of the races. You look at New York Jackie, she's been running for 20,000. You look at the number 2 horse in here, Violet Road, she's been running for 20 and 25,000. You would think, based on that they're both coming out of similar quality races. However, at least in my opinion, number 2, Violet Road, exits much tougher races. Kabuki Rose won a very tough $25,000 race last time out. Violet Road was 2nd that afternoon. She's an 11-time loser, which is why she didn't make my top of my play. But if you're trying to beat New York Jackie, which might not be a bad idea, you're going to do it based off the company lines that she's coming in against. Caribbean Princess, who won that last race, she freaked. She'd never shown anything like that. She was an easy winner.
So tell me about your top choice. I have them also on the ticket. That's the 7, One and Done.
Well, One and Done is going to run out. The last time out ran 5th. I think that was the race that the Pletcher horse spooked going down the stretch and scattered everybody. So One and Done might have actually moved up a couple of spots because of that. But trainer Oscar Gonzalez is the key for me here. He has a very big knack of doing this. He seems to claim off guys that are really top quality trainers, coming into mind Wesley Ward and Bill Mott. He claims this one off Bill Mott, and you would think, well, what do you think you're doing here, pal? You're trying to claim off Hall of Fame trainers and move them up. But to give Oscar a lot of credit, he does move them up, and he gets victories with the lower-level horses like One and Done. Trainer Miguel Vasquez, the jockey here, he is very, very aggressive. I like that move. I think tactically he looms a big threat, and to top it off, he'll be a nice price.
Coming out of that same race that I talked about with Carter Regina, when they all had to kind of alter course to avoid a fallen jockey there. So we'll take you to the final race of today's card. That is the 8th race. It's our super high 5 race of the day. Pick the top 5 finishers in order. Pete and I, we're going to give you the top 3, and looks like 2 completely different options by the look of our picks. This is a $12,500 maiden claiming event. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, are going to be going 7.5 furlongs on the turf course. Scratch the 3 and the 5. I went with the 1, Fairy Luck. Pete went with the 6. That is Stack the Crown.
Both of us going with Tampa Invaders, which is interesting. Number 6, Stack the Crown, gets Gaffleone here today. Finished 5th last time out on the turf course at Tampa. Comes out of a stronger 16 than the 1 Fairy Luck's 20. The 1 Fairy Luck comes out of a race that, by and large, she was supposed to win. She hung like a chandelier. I'm going to call a spade, and she ended up finishing 3rd behind a huge upset winner that afternoon. The intriguing thing about Fairy Luck, though, is that trainer Bill Hickey stays down here to run her in this race, and jockey Luis Figueroa has the call. Luis was coming off of the apprentice title at Tampa Bay Downs. He's very, very, very good. He's polished his craft nicely in the last couple of months, so I'm not going to argue with anybody, including Katie, who likes the 1. I'm going to go with a price horse, though, for Sandy Cataldi. Stack the Crown on the strength of the rider switch and the improving angle.
Yeah, Stack the Crown 10-1 in the morning line, so could give you some nice value. But the one, Fairy Luck, 5-1, also a little bit of value there. Going to try to work out a good trip from the rail. Rallied late last time to get up for third, but beaten only a neck going a mile at Tampa on May 1st. Was the beaten favorite that day against $20,000 meeting claimers. Drops down for a $12,500 tag today. I like that move when making the trip down to Gulfstream to accommodate for the little bit of stiffer competition that she's likely going to face today. But lots of options, as you can see here from Pete and I's selection. As we mentioned earlier, with the Rainbow Six, so if you're going to go and single those two horses early, or at least one of them, this gives you the option to go very deep or even take all in a race like this. So that's just some of the options on today's card. It's going to be a good one. We have a great Rainbow Six carryover, and it's just another beautiful day. So best of luck to you, and don't forget, be here tomorrow on Friday for Black Eyed Susan Day. Do some advanced wagering on the Preakness and get your bets in to be able to be eligible to win a free bet on the Preakness. That is all tomorrow. Pete, any last words before we sign off?
Good luck.
Good luck. Enjoy the day.